Don't wait till the battle's over. Don't wait till the struggle ends. Shout now, shout now, right now. Shout now, shout now. Don't wait till you make it.
Hey everyone, it is Phillip, and this is the PHILLIP Show. Thank you so much for joining us. So if you haven't already, grab your coffee. I am drinking just regular. I know there's no such thing as regular coffee, but it's just regular to me today. But I have a hazelnut creamer in it. I normally don't use creamer, but I'm trying to cut back on sweets. Yeah, so that was my attempt. It's probably the same thing, but I don't know. So listen. So we are going from season to season and different events, right? COVID is doing something different. It's trying to figure out its life. We're trying to figure out our lives. You know, when we were in the midst of, let's say, fall, then winter, now we're kind of spring-ish going into summer. A lot of people are trying to get out, be around people as safely as they can. And a lot of people are looking for ways. We've been in quarantine for a long time. So now it's a little bit safer with these new mandates to go and just be around people. One of the things that I am enjoying are finding those little nooks and those little crannies where you can kind of work and, you know, chill and be around people, maybe not interact too much. One of the things that people are doing, and I know you guys are going to know what I'm talking about, a lot of people are trying to work while they're working remotely or working on their various projects, going someplace that is swank, that is hip, that is cool, and being able to grab a snack and work on your computer. Where am I talking about? Of course, I'm talking about the coffee shop. We all know that the coffee shop is the next hip place. That's where it all goes down, in the coffee shop. So today, here in Yellow Springs, I am going to introduce you to the man behind one of my fave spots, which is Dino's Cappuccino. Now, we're going to learn all about it, and you're going to learn all about it. So I'm not going to do a big, huge background. I'm just going to welcome to the show the man behind the magic, Dino. So how are you doing today?
Good. Cold. Freaking cold, right?
Cold, yeah. Yeah, it's way chilly outside, way. You know, this is that kind of weather where you really don't know how to dress, and you still won't know how to dress until you've been outside for about 5 minutes.
It's crazy. I got to wear a hat. I mean, I'm putting a hat on today. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's mid-May.
Yeah. So listen, okay, so let's just kind of jump in. Dino's Cappuccino. So let's go back to the beginning. Now, are you originally from Yellow Springs?
From Cleveland. Grew up in Cleveland, in the suburbs of Cleveland.
Oh, okay. All right, so how did you get from Cleveland to now being in Yellow Springs?
I had a really good opportunity. Was in sales and in Columbus, and moved up to sales management. But my background was in sales.
Okay.
And, when I was managing pagers, remember the pager stores?
I wasn't going to stop because I thought that I didn't hear you right, and I didn't want to ask, but you did say pagers.
Pagers, yes. Those
Okay.
little black boxes that were so good that would beep, and then we would find our nearest phone booth and go plug in and call up the number.
Yeah.
The phone booth. Remember the phone booth to the phone, the landline?
We are zooming all the way back. Yeah.
So crazy time. So I was selling those, and then I moved up to the management, and then from that point, I started dealing with the pager stores that are now the cellular phone stores. We would deal with those guys, and they would I would work with them. My sales team would work with them, and I kind of learned the business because they were on the retail side. So as you were in their stores, you started to see how they operate, how they're doing their business. I go, well, this is kind of good because it gave you some freedom just to see from the corporate structure to being, you know, a mom and pop retail store. And you kind of see the differences in what goes on and what the freedoms are or what the constraints are of being in your own business.
Yeah.
So by 98, the pagers were just starting to come on down, and as cell phones were really starting to pick up, it was time to make a move. So it was either start moving around the country and just chase where we're at, or just get into a whole different line of work. So Yellow Springs, my wife's from the area.
Okay.
We had a business opportunity. There was a storefront here, and we made the jump. I made the jump just to say, okay, let's get into the retail business, because if you've got a good product and you can sell the widget, it's all about selling the widgets. And you I like that whole feel of understanding what the retail guys were doing. So we gave it a shot. We gave it a shot and said that there's a need here. There's an opening. There's a need, and we can fill a portion of that need. And Yellow Springs worked. And my wife is from this area, so it kind of made it all work out well for us, for both of us.
How did you go from working in pagers, very tech, to saying I see a need, but discovering that need is coffee? Because that's a pretty big jump. So how did you go from tech to coffee?
You know, it was all about the retail. It's all about the retail and saying, so, you know, the widget is the widget, whatever the object that we're going to sell. It's just matter, does that widget fit this area? So we looked around the area, we saw what was here. There was some coffee. There was a little bit, you know, as eclectic as we all are here, there was a little bit of everything, and said, well, there's a fit here. We can fit in here with our product. We learned about the product. We can fit in here with opening a storefront and really just focusing on espresso-based drinks, and really pushing that side of the business. Mm-hmm. So that's where it came about. So the opportunity was here. That's the reason that got us here.
That is amazing. And one of the things, you know, even talking about that, it clearly worked. You went from the tech and the beepers and the pagers to style shifting, if you will, into coffee. And you've been in, how many years have you been in Yellow Springs now with Dino's Cappuccino?
As of June 1st, it'll be 23 years. Crazy.
What that is, I mean, that's some longevity right there. I mean, that's like, put a glove on and pat yourself on the back because it'll feel like somebody else doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's some longevity. What do you think is one of the ingredients that makes your coffee spot in Yellow Springs so unique to give the longevity that it's had?
You know, the number one thing is we have fun.
Okay.
We just want to have fun. It's the number one thing. You know, we've got our little mission statement that we put out for our team members that come on board, but it's the first things out of my mouth is that you got to have fun here. I want you to be your own person. You know, the constraints of the business are, this is our four walls. You play your music. That's it. We're going to we're going to teach you how to make a great product, put it out there, fast, friendly, courteous service, and get it out to the customer. But when you're there, you're in charge and it's your gig. So I want you to have fun, and that's what we teach. That's what I teach our team. We say, have fun here, because people are buying into. They're buying into that. That's the buy-in. Is that it's fun. It's got a good vibe. It's got a good feel, and people like to hang out. And you know, you get every walk of life that comes in there, and it doesn't matter what the walk of life is. It's a good feel in there, and they just want you to be welcome and have fun, just like at your home. You know, it's everybody gets to play their own music. I don't care what you're playing, what they play. It's just whatever you're feeling, and just give it a good, happy vibe. And that makes it, the product sells itself. Let's put it to you that way. The product sells itself. We differentiate ourselves by just having fun and doing our own thing.
I think one of the things that is so awesome about what you just said is that, okay, business is business, and you're going to have the nuts and bolts of just how business works. But then the culture of the place is very unique to the individual. And I think that's what makes the experience. You know, the inclusiveness that you feel and the welcoming and the fun and the vibe you feel, even if you come in and the music's different, even if you come in and something's different because somebody else is working, that even goes to the fact of, like, it's just inclusive. It's about personalities and it's about the entire experience. When you were opening your store, speaking of the experience there, when you were opening your shop, how much were you involved? How much of you is in the decor or the aesthetic? I hear you in the how you want the place to be run, the ethics, but what about when you go in? Because there's so many things to look at, and it's still very eclectic and fun.
Right. It's so funny. So when we first started off, it was very, very vanilla. It was just really basic. We had it didn't have a whole lot of thoughts to it. It was, you know, it was just it was just a storefront. It was a box, and you just didn't have a lot of personality other than just the person that was working. Because it was really, for me, it was 90% was me, and then it was 10% Sheila would come in and she would work on the weekends to help me out so we could just work through it. But it was, you know, you're going full go 7 days a week. But anyways, I digress. I was playing music, and I was playing Italian music, or like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, stuff that I grew up with. And it was just, again, something different.
Yeah.
Instead of just playing what was the norm for the day, it was like, you know, we weren't pop culture. We weren't just playing pop music and all that. I just changed it up. Let's throw that out there. I haven't listened to the music forever, so I started playing that kind of music, right? You're playing, you know, 50s, 40s, 50s, big band, all that. So then all of a sudden, but it was a lot of Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. And then all of a sudden, people just started bringing in, they liked what they heard because they haven't heard it for a while. I mean, it's just something that just was, you know, it's been out of your head for a while. So then people started bringing in Dean Martin posters, Frank Sinatra. They would bring in Louis Prima. They would start bringing in all these pictures and posters, and we started hanging them up on the wall. They saw the Italian flair, so then some people started bringing in Italian flags, and some people started bringing in some Sopranos. So then all of a sudden, this thing kind of just, again, it was beautiful that we had a blank canvas there, and our customers really painted the picture.
Wow.
They're the ones that brought it in. So all of a sudden, it started taking a theme on. It was a lot of buying that everybody got their own buying. They felt there's part ownership in this one. They brought this picture. They put this up there. We put it up. We hung it. So all of a sudden, it just started taking off, and it's just got its own theme. And yeah, we're eclectic. There's a little bit of everything. There's the Dean Martins, the Frank Sinatras of the world. Then there's all my Cleveland stuff, the Cleveland Browns, the Cavaliers, you know, West Virginia, where I played football in college at. So there's a little bit of all that, and it just kind of took off. But really, it was really our customers that just kind of developed it and gave us a theme and just gave us that look.
Wow. So that even gives them, you use the word ownership, and that is really, really neat. You know what Dino's Cappuccino reminds me of? Remember that show, Cheers?
Absolutely.
This is like the cappuccino version. It reminds me
when the pagers were out. Yeah, when the pagers were out, with Cheers was out. Yeah. I remember.
See? We're the fast forward version. You know, but it reminds me of that place that is so comfortable and just relaxing, and you feel completely welcome. You can see your imprint there somewhere in some shape. You can have an appreciation for everything. I mean, it's just like one of those feel good places. Now, listen, about feeling good. One of my questions has always been, because you go to a coffee shop and there's 1 million coffees. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I generally order the same thing. Generally order the same thing. Where do you come up with all of your different coffee menu or your coffee specialties?
So, you know, when through our roaster that we partner with up in Columbus, they do our roasting. They did a lot of training when we first got going, and they would help you with developing drinks. There's a pretty set standard drink list. And then as that goes along, you start practicing, you start playing around, you know, you start doing your little experiments. So you've got the base, a big base, and then you can just kind of deviate a little bit here, a little bit there. And all of a sudden you create a couple other drinks. And again, all of our staff, all our folks, everybody likes to play around, and then all of a sudden, somebody hits something. Oh, this is a good drink. Oh, somebody hit something over here. This is a good drink. So then we just start adding, and again, it goes back to ownership. Everybody contributes, and it's a success, and we put it up on the board. We name it, and we go with it. So it kind of, you know, again, it's organic. There's a set standard, but it organically develops into something else, and you get to put on some add-ons. And again, it's a whole buy-in and ownership of it. So it's kind of cool, real fun in that respect.
That really is, because I'm always amazed. I'm looking at the names and looking at what's in them. And, you know, everybody has a gift and everybody has their lane, and coming up with coffee drinks totally is not my lane. And I'm looking like, I would have never have thought to do all of that, you know, and it's so interesting. When it comes to people coming to and I know that the weekends is going to be a little bit different, but do you normally have more repeat clients, customers, or repeat family, or do you get a lot of tourists?
So during the week, I mean, I open every day, 6 days a week. I'll open, and then Sundays I try to take off. I do take off on Sundays. So 6 days a week we're opening. It's repeat. You know, this is the reason that we open early, open often, stay open. But the morning, you have a morning crowd. I mean, coffee is for morning people. So you really get that set standard, and it's a routine. We are part of the routine. So we build that routine for them. They're a routine for us. We're a routine for them. So you get that routine business, that repeat business. But yeah, on the weekends, yeah, definitely it's a tourist. After 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's tourism. It's tourism that's coming in, that's driving the business from really Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, but during the week, Monday through Saturday until that 10 o'clock time, it's repeat business. It's everybody just has their fit, whether it's with us or whether it's with our other vendors that are in there, our other businesses that are in there. Everybody has their own routine, and they like to follow that, and they like to keep that going. And that definitely changed when COVID came around. The whole routine was out of whack.
Yeah, tell me about how, speaking of COVID, how did you do and how did you fare, and what changed for you during that time or during this time? Because it's not over, but
right. So when this all started, and you watch it coming in January and February of 2020, we saw a creep. We all saw the creep coming as it's marching across the country, and go, well, it's coming. So then by March, it's coming, and then the governor makes when he made his ruling to say shut down, only essential businesses can be open, and that was mid-March. And none of us understood what COVID was. We really didn't have an idea. We thought, wow, people are passing. This isn't good. What is coming our way? So our staff, we all met before the 15th. We all had a conversation to see, what do you feel? How do you feel? What do you want to do? What don't you want to do? And the staff was not comfortable. None of us were comfortable with what the scenario was. So the staff didn't feel comfortable, and they chose to say, they want to pause, which was fine. I said, that's cool. I get it. We all get it. So at that point, it was a decision that I made that said, we can deem ourselves essential business so we can remain open. It was just takeout only. You can't sit in the store anymore. So I just chose to run the business myself, and I ran it 7 days a week on unlimited hours, open early, stay open until about 12:30, 1 o'clock every day, and just ran it from mid-March, all of April. And then once we all kind of got an idea of what COVID is and how it's working, and what it all is about, that level of you just not understanding what it is, that kind of dialed down a little bit.
Gotcha.
So we brought everybody back May 1st, and we were comfortable with the protocols that were set, and what we could do and what we should do, and how you have to, how you're disinfecting everything all the time and keeping the place clean, wiped down. People are just going in and out, can't stay. So we just followed the protocols, and it worked, and everybody came back, and we just pushed forward from that point on.
Wow. I know that was that time when everything was new, both COVID and the protocols. That was a whole life switch for a lot of people, with masks, with social distancing. How do you think that impacted some of your customers? Did they seem to have some pushback?
Again, everybody was really scared. I think that's the best way we could say it. Everybody's really scared of the unknown, because none of us knew how. If you get this, what's going to happen to me? That was the whole what ifs. So we just, the customer base changed. Your routine was broken. The routine was broken for everybody. The routine that I brought of being open was that routine. And for those folks that wanted to come out, good, they can keep their routine. That's where we just kind of brought down the level for everybody, of just the anxiety level, that there is something routine, that we can kind of keep some semblance of reasoning here, and we can visit Dino's, get in, get our coffee, get our drink, and get out. But at least there was some consistency in their life, as the upheaval was just everywhere else.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the people who trusted your business, and trusted you as just as a person, really appreciated your stringent process, and saying, hey, we want to be here for you because we are part of your routine. However, this is how we're going to have to do it. I'm sure that they were very, what's the word when you just receive something? They were very
they were appreciative of everything.
Appreciative, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure that they're appreciative. So, okay, so switching up just a little bit, the inside is so vibrant, and I love all of the decor. What can people expect from Dino's when it comes to holidays? You ever do anything as far as interior for your holidays? How do you celebrate inside?
So whatever the big holidays come up, we're ready to go. So if whether it's Halloween, Christmas, I mean Halloween, Christmas, those are the big ones. Thanksgiving not so much, but Valentine's Day we'll put decor up. We've got Christmas is the one where we're loaded. So you come in there, it's like, what is happening in this store? It vomits. It vomits Christmas. I mean, I can't say it anywhere. That's just, you go, whoa, it's heavy duty. It's like when you go in the Clifton Mill and you walk into one of those little gift shops that are just Christmas everywhere. So that's what we put that vibe out there. So, it gives you it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling like, oh, this is cozy. It's kind of cool. And there's, we'll do stuff for Halloween. Halloween, same thing. We'll go off the rails on the other side. It's you're coming into the creeping place. What's going on?
Wow.
We're going to scare people. We're going to do stuff. You're going to have fun with it. I mean, again, it goes back to the same old story. You just want to have fun with it. So, St. Patrick's Day, we'll do some stuff, but it's the bigger holidays where you can do something for a couple of weeks that we'll just load up the store and just give it a theme and really put it out there. You'll know where you're in. You know where you are. What time of the season it is.
You will recognize whatever season you are in.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is great. I can't wait until the next one rolls up so I can roll in there and see what Dino's has to offer. So let me ask you, coming from I guess more of a business, we talked about tech, to more of a in-person customer service coffee scenario, what would you say is the biggest difference or cultural difference of working as a professional in both?
The biggest difference was, professionalism in the corporate world is, on a high level. I mean, it's just on a high level. You're in the corporate world, a very structured setting, if you will. In a retail store, and I would say for any retail business, it's the personality of that shop owner, if you will, what they want to go for. But the liberties there are we're not constrained. I mean, you have a broad swath to do what you want to do and how you want to run that operation. And that gives you the freedom to make it your own. And you can see what drives the corporate world. You can bring that part, you can bring parts of that in there, but you also get to bring parts of yourself in there. So it gives it your own identity. It's the best way I say it. So that's the biggest difference is that comes from it. You get to give your own identity and you get to put that stamp on it and really take it to the level that you choose the direction you want to go with it.
Wow, when you started Dino's Cappuccino, did you pull from some of the experiences that you had, or some of the tools and the knowledge that you gained from being the beeper guy?
Yeah, it was sales. It was all about sales. So whatever you're selling, you've got that basic education, that background of how to sell and how to market. So you bring those tools in to say, okay, well, this is what we're selling now. How are we going to effectively market that tool? How are we going to market that product out there and get it out to the public to understand what it is, how it is? So you know how to bring that outreach. That's what you bring from the corporate life that you can bring in there and bring in that knowledge to your retail store. After that, now it's what I feel, what I want to bring to it, what my team wants to bring to it. But what we do know is that we have to be consistent, and whatever message we're delivering, it better be consistent, because you can't be like a wave just blowing in the wind and just going this direction and that direction. You got to have a focus. You have to have a plan, and you got to be committed, and you have to have a focus.
I love that. Even with all the creativity, even with all the seasonal the decorations, even with all of that, it kind of comes down to those common things, those common denominators that are really the tools for success. And you mentioned them, like being consistent, understanding what your vision is, and remaining consistent with that. Yeah, I think so. So if somebody here in Yellow Springs was going to say, hey, I want to open a business, besides those nuggets that we just got, what's something that you learned that you may not have known when you started Dino's Cappuccino that you're just like, okay, I learned this through the process, and had I known that, it would have been easier kind of before?
You have to remain flexible. I mean, you have to execute a plan, whatever the plan is, and you got to be true to yourself. Whatever the plan is, you got to be consistent. You have to be consistent, and persistency will breed consistency. That's number one. But you have to be flexible, and you got to be willing to take a little risk, to do some changes. I mean, that's the biggest thing I look at. Is I've worked with government here in Yellow Springs and been involved in not politics, but just in the government here in Yellow Springs. And you understand from a government side, you have structure and things kind of move slowly, and you just really have to plod along to get to the next step.
Sure.
Move that into our business. You got to be willing to make a change. You got to be willing to make a risk, take a chance. If it doesn't work, you change up again. If it doesn't work, you change up. But you got to be willing to make the move one way or the other, good, bad, or indifferent. You have to be flexible to see what's going to work, because doing nothing and not making any changes and not doing anything is going to stagnate you, and you're just not going to evolve. So you really got to be you got to be willing to take the risk. And the chances, if you don't take a chance, you're not going to find out if something's going to work or if it's not going to work. And I don't care if it doesn't work. At least we learn from it that it didn't work, and we know not to do that again, and let's go in this direction. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I take out. It's the flexibility of, you got to be quick on your feet. You got to think fast and move fast.
Yeah, and that's important. Taking risks is important. And then after taking the risk, I love what you said. After taking the risk, what's the lesson there? Was it a positive something and we can move forward with it? Or is it something that we need to augment again and say, it wasn't a bad idea, but maybe we need to alter it in order to be successful? But being able to be confident enough to say, hey, I'm going to take this risk because, your vision says it's worth it,
Right. I mean, that's what keeps things fresh. It keeps you active. It keeps you involved in the shop. It keeps you involved with the public, because I mean, the public demands certain things too that you pick up from them. I mean, this isn't just a one-way street.
Sure.
We're just going out. We hear it. I mean, we get feedback, and it works.
Oh, you're in Yellow Springs. Oh, you hear it. Oh,
yeah. And that's the beauty part about it, is you get the feedback. And some people are rigid to feedback. Some people resist feedback. Some people don't want change. Like, oh my God, you're changing the store around. Don't do that. You move the chairs and tables over here. You go, and it happens. Just what you said. They'll tell you. They'll give you. You'll know where you stand at all times. Good, bad, or indifferent. You know where you stand.
Yeah, and that's a good attitude that you take. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter the feedback. You're receptive to hearing it all and pulling something from it all. There's always an opportunity to grow, even if we don't like what we hear. There's always an opportunity to step back and say, you know what, that really didn't make me feel good, but let me listen and see what I can take from this. Because there may be some nuggets in there, even though they may be uncomfortable, there might be something in there to say, okay, I can probably do that.
Amen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's it. Amen.
So what's next? What's next for Dino? I know we got these cappuccinos going on. What else is going on?
Well, what have we done now? I mean, the only things that we've changed, we've always had the best kept secret is our back piazza, is the piazza out back, and that's our best kept secret.
I didn't even know about that till the last time I was in there. I was just standing. And I looked out the back door. I was like, let me find out I can go back there. I was like, that's VIP.
That's right. Yes, it is. Yeah. So that's what we do. So that's a nice area. We've upscaled it a little bit, trying to make it a little more comfortable. That's we'll put tables out front, which is great. Putting the tables out front during the weekend is awesome, because then you get to see the life in Yellow Springs, and it's from the tourists, from anybody and everybody. You just get to see a walks of life. Go hang out, have a coffee. They're outside in the sun, relaxing out front, talking, chatting, seeing life go on in Yellow Springs.
Yeah.
Or you go out back, and the best kept secret about it is peaceful and quiet. If you want to get away from just the hustle bustle, like on street fair. When you have street fairs, the hustle bustle is just intense.
Yeah.
You walk out back and you're going, ooh, it's a breath of fresh air. It's
like your oasis. It's like an oasis.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Dino, I am so so excited that that you stopped by and took some more time out of your schedule to talk to us today and give us some insights into the how of it all, you know, and the who of it all, and to our new VIP spot.
Wink, wink.
I know. But thank you so much for stopping by. We always love having you here, and I look forward to hearing and seeing what's going on in the next season of Dinos.
Absolutely, Philip. Anytime. Thank you for the opportunity. It's awesome to be with you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Oh man, everybody, that is some greatness right there. You heard how it started, why it's here, why it continues to be here, and if you are thinking of doing something as amazing as opening your own location, it takes just a vision, consistency, and flexibility to be able to listen, take in everything that you hear, and sift through it, and make some changes if you need to. All right, so if you're in Yellow Springs, make sure that you come and stop at Dino's Cappuccino, and then just winking at the VIP section. All right, we'll see you guys next time on The PHILLIP Show. Remember, you are the best you in the world. We'll see you later. Bye.
Don't